Is Dark Passage from 1947 a forgotten gem, or is it just another cheap B movie? Find out today on Really Old Movies. Welcome to Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin, and today, for the final film for Noirvember, I'll be discussing Dark Passage from 1947. Some essential movie details. This film is one of the earliest examples of a first person point of view shot film. This meaning when you see the main character, played by Humphrey Bogart, walking around, we don't see his face at all until much later in the film. So we just see his hands in front of the camera. It's like a first person shooter game, but it's a movie, of course. Now, the studio was very reluctant and hesitant to this idea, since it would mean Humphrey Bogart, their leading star, he would not be shown for nearly half the film. But things were already set in place, and it was kind of too late to change it. They already started filming it, and so they just went with it, and it turned out to be pretty successful for them. All right, so now I'll get into my thoughts on the plot. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good. I just did not like the ending. It resolved itself way too easily, way too quickly. I mean, there was no tension. There was no one was chasing Humphrey Bogart's character anymore, right? He just talks with Lauren Bacall on the phone in a bus station, to meet me here in South America, right? And then it shows to him just sitting at a bar in South America, and she starts playing their song, and then they get together and all that, right? Which is cute and all. It's just, I hated that ending. It resolved itself too quickly. They were building up the whole time that he was being chased by the police. He was, a fugitive on the run, right? He was wanted for murder, and, he could have been put on trial. We didn't see any of that. It was just totally resolved really quick with a nice little bow on top, and I didn't like that. I thought that was way too quick, way too easy. And so because of that, I gave it a 3 out of 5. In regards to the acting, I gave that a 5 out of 5. Despite the lackluster finish to the film, I thought Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall were fantastic. They were really married in real life, and so you could see they had a real chemistry together. And I think they're the highlight of the film. That's probably the big reason to watch it, is to see them interacting and talking with each other. And especially in the scenes when he's in her house and she's trying to take care of him and all of that, it's really interesting. Because they had great chemistry. They were really married. And so I liked that a lot. And that's why I gave it a 5 out of 5. In regards to the directing, I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was okay. The scenes, the pacing and all of that was fine. I thought that was all done well. The only thing I don't like direction-wise was the route they went with the ending. Now, if I remember right, it's based on a book. And this may be the ending from the book. I've never read it, but I'm not a fan of how easily resolved it is. It felt kind of like a cop-out. It's like we spend this whole time of him kind of on the run. He literally changes his face and he's on the run, and we never see a resolution to that. I didn't like that very much. I thought that was way too easy of an ending. So maybe I blame the director, maybe the studio, I'm not sure. But all in all, I would say the direction of it was fine. It was just not amazing. In regards to cinematography and special effects, I gave that a 5 out of 5. Again, this is another highlight of the movie. I loved the first person angles and point of view shots. They were fantastic. I could have easily seen them be really cheesy, really dumb, but no, they were really good. I mean, there's a scene where he's like lighting someone's cigarette. There's a scene with him running around. There's a scene with him looking back and forth across the road, to see if there's any cars coming. Like, it felt real. It was really good. Almost like a video game. So I really enjoyed that. I don't know if this is the first example of it. I kind of doubt it, but this was, it was really interesting and cool to see in such an older film, using this type of technique. And, I can imagine why the studio's freaked out, because we're not going to see Humphrey Bogart for half the film. Are you crazy? Like, it's true. We never see him until he's in bandages, and even then, he doesn't he doesn't take them off for a while either. So, yeah, that was amazing. And then special effects, there's not really any. The only one I could really think of was they have a newspaper clipping of him, as a wanted guy, and you could tell it's Humphrey Bogart's top, like his eyes and his head and all that, but the mouth and the chin and all that was a way different actor. And I kind of liked how they did that. It looked pretty seamless. Some form of photo touch up that they did. It looked pretty realistic. I liked that. In regards to the music, I gave that a 4 out of 5. I love the song, Too Marvelous for Words. That's the love song they have. Bogart and Bacall. It's a great song. To me, this reminded me a lot of the use of As Time Goes By in Casablanca. It really set the tone. It was romantic. You could really feel that they loved each other and how they connected with this song. I really liked that. Now, the only reason why I don't give it a 5 out of 5, I just thought the regular score and music was just okay. It was just your standard symphony and orchestra and whatnot. So it wasn't anything to really write home about. But yeah, I love Too Marvelous for Words. I think that was a good choice. Never heard it before this film, but it fit really well. All right, so tallying that all up, that brings my Letterboxd score to a 4 out of 5. And so would I recommend this movie? I would, for a few reasons, mainly for Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall's relationship. I thought they were a great connection, great chemistry. And then the other thing I would recommend is for the first person point of view. I thought that was incredible. It's not like Hardcore Henry, where it's the whole movie. If that had happened in that movie, I only remember clips of it. I never saw that one. But it fits in with the narrative of the story because he's going to change his face, right? And so, it's going to be obscure to the audience. Just the ending is pretty lackluster. Pretty disappointing of an ending. So other than all that, though, yeah, I'd recommend it. All right. Well, those are my thoughts on Dark Passage from 1947. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure to subscribe to our Instagram and Facebook at Really Old Movies, where I discuss details about the week's particular film. New podcast episodes are released Saturdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. All right, thank you so much. This has been Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. Take care.